Woo! What's going on, guys? Holmes coming at you with another video. In today's video, we're still talking about free agency. This happened yesterday, though. Detroit Lions are signing free agent nose tackle Roy Lopez to a 1-year, $4.65 million deal. Don't know the ins and outs of this deal just yet. I'm pretty sure that it's a 4.65 guaranteed. I could be wrong there, but nevertheless, we acquired a nose tackle. Holmes he's kind of going after a depth piece here in Roy Lopez, man, with lots of starting experience. He brings some juice in the passing game. Plays the run a little bit too as well. Obviously, being a nose tackle, this D line is in shambles at the moment, especially the interior. A lot of people, are kind of like begging for a defensive end and edge type presence, and I get it. I'm in that same boat, but our interior is in pretty bad shape as well. But this guy's 6'2", 320 pounds, 27 years old at the moment. Will be 28 in July, so he's a 28-year-old kid. He's not a kid, but he's 28 years old, and he's one of the younger guys on the team. He's not an old guy, but he's been around with Arizona for a bit. But we'll talk about his college stats because that's how I like to do it. He's 5 years in college. He went to Mexico State Aggies. He's four years there, and they spent it 1 year at Arizona. Arizona Wildcats. Went back home. He's from Arizona. 155 tackles, 26 tackles for loss, 4 pass deflections, 3 fumble recoveries, 1 forced fumble, and 9 sacks in a 5-year career as a college football player. Most of that work at Mexico State. Kind of banged up in his last kind of 2 years in college, especially his last year at Arizona. But his last couple of years is a little bit banged up. But the Arizona Wildcats, he only played a few games. That got him drafted into the 6th round, 195th overall by the Houston Texans in the 2021 draft. He spent 2 years with Houston, and then he did 2 years in Arizona, went back home again. His NFL stats: 137 tackles, 17 tackles for loss, 9 QB hits, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 forced fumble, 4 pass deflections, only 3 sacks. He started 50 games, though. It's a pretty interesting story on how, this guy got drafted in the 6th round, got himself drafted, hardworking kid, and was pretty much starting right away for Houston. Usually when you see a 6th round pick, usually this is a guy that's going to take a little bit to get acclimated to the NFL, get acclimated to the scheme. He's going to be probably a developmental player, a project. It's in the 6th round. A lot of these 6th round picks don't even make it into the NFL. They do a few years, 4 years, whatever they do, 5 years. I don't know what it takes to get a pension in the NFL, but some of these guys that are like that, 6th round picks, 7th round picks, they don't really get to the point where they can get a pension. So I don't really know the number that it takes to, how many years it takes to be an NFL guy. I don't think it's a lot. I want to say like 6 or 7. It could be even less, but that seems a little bit low. But if you guys know in the comment section, let me know. So I'm not 100% sure. I did not do my homework on that one, which I should have. But, he's been a starter since day one. That's being a 6th round pick, like I said. Tells you how hard of a worker he really is, right? The kid's a squatty player, that can give some push. That can give some push to some guards and some centers. More of a pass rusher, in my opinion, to be honest. He's going to stop the run, obviously, at 6'2", 320 pounds. He's considered kind of small through length, anyways, and small through as a nose tackle. A lot of nose tackles are 330, 335. He's not a small guy by any stretch at 320, but he's considered smallish. So take that with whatever you want. He's not really your traditional kind of run stuffer, run stopper. He's a good football player though, but he's got weaknesses too as well, man. Like I said, he's not very long. He's a sixth round pick. Doesn't mean he's a bad football player. But this is a guy that's going to be a depth piece for the Lions. Let's be really honest here. He's got some starting experience, like I said, 50 games over, I think he's been around for 64 games. He's got like 50 starts under his belt. So that's impressive in itself for being a 6th-round pick. And then, like I kind of alluded to earlier, our D line's in shambles, man. Like we talk about, our defensive ends, and we need help there, but the interior spots are pretty bad. Now, earlier when I wrote this, and when I was doing my homework, I said that Pat O'Connor, Kyle Pecco, and Levi and Ruzarike were free agents. Well, lo and behold, we brought back Levi and Ruzarike. I'm not doing videos on a lot of re-signs. I will. I did for Derek Barnes because I feel that that he's a big contributor, or at least a contributor, not a big contributor, but at least he's a contributor. Levi and Ruzarike, I don't know if I'm going to do a video for that. Like I know we did a bunch of re-signs. We re-signed Craig Reynolds today. We brought back Ezekiel Turner and Anthony Pittman. Whatever Holmes is doing here, I trust him. But I get we don't have to go for a bunch of big name free agents, but we're just running it back. We're just running it back with the same guys. Like obviously it's going to be different. There's a couple different guys. Like obviously Roy Lopez. DJ Reed comes to mind. All of a sudden, those guys are going to be different, man. Those guys never been a Lion, and I'm sure they've, that they'll pick up a couple. They picked up a linebacker too. I can't remember his name, Stewart something. Two from the Colts, who's a special teams linebacker. No big splashes. Now DJ Reed, if you want to call a big splash, that's fine. This is not a big splash with the Roy Lopez though. It's not. It's not a big splash. But our interior is bad. Let's just, on Ruzarike's back, Levi's back on a 1-year deal, like $5.5 million. It might be incentives though on that one. I'm not sure. They're giving him 5.5. There was a cap expert out there. My boy, man, Spirit of Podcast, Avery Giovanni. We were talking through Facebook, and he sent me like a little blurb. From apparently some type of, I don't know what it was from. It was an article, and it was some cap expert. Can't remember his name. I should have wrote it down. I didn't. He predicted that Levi and Ruzarike was going to make $16 million, like on a 2-year deal or something like that, or 16 per. I'll make like $22 million or something along that line, or 32 million. I forget what it was. It was like 16 million per. For what? Like I know I'm kind of going off topic here, but and maybe I will do a video. But 16 million per for a guy that's been healthy one time and hasn't done much. I don't know. Then they said he'd probably make $10 million if it wasn't 16. We brought him back at 5.5 million. So whatever, man. Whatever. We got him on the cheap. He's back. There's my video for it. Okay, but anyways. The interior is pretty weak right now in Detroit. On Ruzarike back, I get it. McNeil's probably not going to be available for another month and a half. Who knows how long? Could be out 2 months. Hopefully not. I'm still recovering from that knee injury. And Broderick Martin, that 3rd-round pick that Brad Holmes traded away picks to get to a few years back. He's going into year 3, looking like a bust. In year 1, he I don't think he really dressed. I don't think he dressed one game in year 1. He might have dressed a game. Last year he was hurt. He was healthy, scratched, kind of everything the above, except for playing. I think he might have played in 2 games last year, Broderick Martin. So we brought in more help, and he's a little more stable. He's a little more stable than some of our D linemen right now, like Roy Lopez. I'm saying he's going to back up DJ Reader. That's kind of what's out there right now. DJ Reader, who we brought in last year, who's 30 years old, going to be 31 in July, so he's not getting any younger. He did miss a couple games last year, DJ Reader. I think he missed 2. I think he was good for 15 and had decent numbers for a nose tackle. That's the thing with nose tackles, right? Like everybody looks at nose tackles, and sometimes you got to get educated here. And it's like, I had this discussion with some guy about this Roy Lopez. Well, look at his sacks. He's got 3 in 4 years. It's not his job. Even though he does kind of pursue the quarterback at a different rate than a normal nose tackle. He's got a little giddy up to the quarterback. His tackles for losses kind of impressed me as an NFL guy. 17 tackles for losses in 4 years as a nose tackle. It's not that bad for four. That's 4, 8, 12. That's over 4 tackles for loss per average per season. That's not bad for a nose tackle. He's got a little push. He's got a little push. He can get into the backfield. That's what you like. So, but I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be backing up DJ Reader. You know what I mean? This isn't one of those moves where it's like, oh man, this is over the top. This is great, man. This is that Super Bowl winning move. But it's a depth piece, and that's all. It's frustrating, I think, a little bit. But like I said earlier, guys, I'm trying to convince myself that we don't need to make a lot of big moves. I would love to see a Trey Hendrickson here. I wanted Garrett here. I wanted Max Crosby. There was a part of me, there was a 90% part of me that was like, it's never going to happen. Just a little 10%, maybe it'll happen. With Trey Hendrickson, it comes out of that, that it's going to take a second round pick, and then you see today that the Bengals are going to want multiple first round picks for him. Don't know what's going on. I think he's re-signing. I think he's going to re-sign either in Cincinnati. They're not going to get what they want. They should trade him. But it's hard to get rid of premier positions, especially a defensive end. It's like getting rid of, a stud left tackle. That's how I feel getting rid of a stud defensive end is. But if he's not happy, then you got to do it. He's got age against him, 31 years old, this and that. The drop-off's going to come eventually. He's been a stud for 2 years. He's been a stud for a while now. He was a bust out in as a New Orleans Saints, and now he's been nothing but a stud for the Cincinnati Bengals. But whatever, man. We brought in Roy Lopez. I keep going back to other guys. I shouldn't be him all over the place. Sorry. But yeah, this guy's going to back up DJ Reader, and he might get some snaps because like I said, our defensive line is in shambles, especially in the interior. Now with Levi back, I could see Levi, at least getting more reps. It could be a rotation. It could be a rotation with Levi and Buzarike, and between DJ Reader and Roy Lopez as of right now. We'll see what happens in the draft too. We still got that coming up at the end of April. So, he does handle. One thing about Roy Lopez too, that I kind of looked into, and you have to dig a little bit on these guys. I saw a graphic where they were talking about pass rush ability for interior defensive linemen, and it really intrigued me, got my ears perked up. He handles double teams really well. Believe it or not, he's right there with players like Vita Vea from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs, who's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame one year, and Keanu Benton for the Steelers, who was killing it last year, and Cam Hayward, another probably Hall of Fame guy's going to be wearing a Hall of Fame jacket when it's all said and done. Now, I'm not saying this guy is Chris Jones or Cameron Hayward or Vita Vea or Benton or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying last year he really handled getting double teamed in the pass rush game. So a center guard on him, he worked them. He worked those guys. He got through them, got into the backfield. Pass rush win rate was higher than normal, and he was right up there. Now he's not any of those players, but that's it's kind of exciting. It could be a guy that's kind of clicked on year 4. It's got a little bit better. No, like his numbers are not staggering. They're nothing eye-opening or anything like that, or just like it's not the wow factor that we brought into Roy Lopez. But he's a depth piece that could play some minutes, could play some snaps. It's going to all depends, what happens, I think, going down the road with McNeil, Levi, and whoever else they bring in. Because we don't have a very good defensive tackle, nose tackle unit right now. It's a little bit weak. You got Reader, You got a banged up Aleem McNeil, Chris Smith from the practice squad. Like I said, O'Connor's gone, Pecco's gone, Levi came back. You got Wingo, who's super young, and he's still a developmental player. Could he be a guy that kind of steps up in year two? Who knows? He was getting some snaps last year. And who else? There's a couple other guys too, but it's not a strong unit. Our defensive line right now is not strong. It's not. Getting rid of guys like Za'Darius, letting. I think that was a mistake. I have a feeling they might be bringing him back though. Just a feeling. He still hasn't signed with anybody yet, so I have a feeling they're trying to work something out. With Za'Darius. So, but it's a weak line on the edges. Hutch is still up in the air. He's getting better. Apparently he's coming to an end with his rehab soon. But it's always going to be kind of rehabbing. But I think his actual rehab is coming to an end soon. So but we're weak at ends. We're weak in the edge. We're weak inside. D tackle, nose tackle. Got a couple guys there though. Aleem, is going to take some time. DJ Reader getting older. We brought in Lopez, so I'm not overly concerned with this pick. I'm not, it's a $4.65 million deal. I'm not sweating it. I'm not sweating it, man. I want other guys coming in here. I do. I want to see some guys coming in here, but as of right now, this is not a bad move. It's not a bad move, man. But something's going to be done, and we'll see. I'm expecting some extensions from either Kirby Joseph or Aiden Hutchinson. So we'll see what happens there. But Roy Lopez in Honolulu blue and silver. What do you guys feel about it? I don't think it's bad. He's kind of a run stuffer. He can get to the quarterback a little bit as well. I think that's more his game a little bit. He's more of an athletic, kind of undersized, if you will, nose tackle. So welcome to the D, big fella. So thanks a lot, guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell up top. Bing, bing. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out. One pride. Detroit versus everybody. Grit, baby. Let's go. Boom.